According to CBS News, some of President Trump's own cabinet members have been whispering about whether to move forward with formal proceedings to invoke the 25th Amendment and remove him from office days before his term ends.
Now, while the president could delay the process to run out the clock past January 20th, it's a serious part of the fallout from yesterday's attack on the U.S. Capitol by his supporters. CBS's Natalie Brand is on Capitol Hill with what happened in this morning's top story.
Joseph R. Biden Jr. of the state of Delaware has received 306 votes.
In the early hours of Thursday morning, the joint session of Congress affirmed President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris's Electoral College win after defeating objections to Arizona and Pennsylvania's votes.
The noes have it.
It came hours after Trump supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol building, some making it as far as Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office. Others reached the Senate floor. Capitol Police drew their guns as people tried to enter the House. 4 people died during the chaos, 3 from medical emergencies. 1 woman was shot and killed. Members of the House and Senate had been evacuated from their chambers.
This is Banana Republic crap.
Wisconsin GOP Congressman Mike Gallagher sheltered in place in his office.
Mr. President, you have got to stop this.
Earlier Wednesday, President Trump continued his attacks on the 2020 election.
We will never give up. We will never concede.
Mr. Trump's Twitter account was later locked after posting this video message to his supporters.
So go home. We love you. You're very special.
The violence began shortly after some Republicans raised their first objection, an effort to show support for President Trump, even if it didn't have the votes to succeed.
And it gives credibility to a dark chapter of our history.
Early this morning, the White House released a statement from President Trump saying though he disagrees with the outcome of the election, there will be an orderly transition on January 20th. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And police said that at least 52 people were arrested as of Wednesday night, including 26 on Capitol grounds, and at least 14 police officers were injured.
North Dakota's congressional delegation shared their status and their feelings on Twitter as the unrest played out. Senator Kevin Cramer said, quote, "I'm safe and in a secure location. Violence is never okay, and what is happening is abhorrent. It must end and be condemned immediately," end quote. Senator John Hoeven also issued the statement of condemning the violent attacks on the U.S. Capitol.
Today, we were reminded that we can never take our democracy for granted. We must preserve it through adherence to our Constitution and the rule of law. America is a beacon of freedom and liberty for the world, and we must always strive to protect it for all Americans now and for future generations.
Congressman Kelly Armstrong tweeted, quote, "Thank you to the Capitol Police and all law enforcement. Rioting is not protesting. This needs to stop now," end quote.
Well, pro-Trump rallies drew thousands across the country to oppose Wednesday's count in Congress to confirm Joe Biden's electoral victory. Bismarck was no exception. About 100 people turned out to the Capitol yesterday afternoon to pray for President Trump's continuation in office. The crowd sang religious songs, they said prayers, and held signs reading "Stop the Steal." And this comes as some GOP congressmen opposed certifying Biden's victory. But North Dakota's federal delegation said earlier this week that they would not.
There's a lot of irregularities and a lot of instances of fraud that needs to be investigated. And I think that, you know, having a transparent election is really important to uphold our Constitution.
Hope and pray that Cramer, Hoeven, and Armstrong all change their tune.
Presidential electors from every state voted mid-December, certifying the 306 votes for Biden and 232 for President Trump.